I'm going to start this one off just a little bit different than what I normally do. I started this a moment ago and the camera shut off for some reason. But at any rate, uh, get this started again. Starting off a little bit different, I'm going to talk about the razors first as opposed to starting out with the soap. You can kind of see that these two razors look very much alike, but they are different. This one here is Aristocrat. This one's made 1946, 47. This one here is a 55 model. And one of the things you can notice that are different, it's got the notch right there on that center bar. And this one here, the Aristocrat, does not have that notch. Also, this one here has the knurling on the top band and bottom band, being the Diplomat. And this Aristocrat has the knurling on the top band, but smooth on the bottom band. They look very much alike. If you were just to see them side by side, if you didn't know about the knurling on the bands and whatnot, it'd be easy to mistake it for an Aristocrat as opposed to a Diplomat. Excuse me. I have a link down below by the way of Razor Emporium that goes through all the iterations of an Aristocrat and the differences and how they're similar and how things may have happened over time. Reason why some of these will look very similar but different and be just as confusing as can be if you didn't have that sort of resource available to you. Anyway, I got a link down below if you want to check it out. Shave soap, something that kind of sort of falls in line with Gillette here. This is made by Victory Shaving, and which is no longer available. So it's going to be a buy-sell trade if you're interested in the soap or the tin itself. The name of this one here is Witchcraft, and a lot of the theme was from previous events that took place in a war. And this one here, it says that the scent is leather, woods, and tobacco. And for me, my nose, I definitely pick up the woods and the tobacco. I'm not sure if my nose picks up the leather. Not saying it's not there. It's just my nose is just not picking it up. And this one here there's only 130 of these made, and this is the 38th one out of that group. But anyway, it's pretty unique. It's in a tin, and as a matter of fact, that's what it looks like there on the inside. It's filled all the way up to the top. So you're looking at a 4-ounce container that's got 4 ounces in it, as opposed to an 8-ounce container that may have 4 ounces in it, so you can whip up your lather inside the jar if you wanted to. And I decided to follow up the shave today with another one that's not really available anymore. And this one's Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Vloid. And if I remember right, this one here, I guess you might say, was inspired by Floyd Amber, I think it is. And it's considered I guess you might say, a barbershop type scent. I have the lather whipped up here with a brush. Once again, not really available. This one here came to me by the way of Green Country Razors. This one here has a badger knot. A handle is, yeah, it's metal. It's got some weight behind it. Definitely, I can smell the woods and tobacco, but I'm not so sure about the leather. But that's my nose. I've got it whipped up here in a small wooden bowl here. See how it whips up? It whips up quite nice. Smells, it's a manly scent, that's for sure. Don't know that I would consider it a cologne scent by any means. At least not by my standards. Go ahead and get started. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning. I'm going to go ahead and wet the face, get started with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements pre-shave cube. Here it is. Get started here. The blade of choice today is the Gillette Silver Blue, and it will be on its second use today on this Monday. I think you probably, if you've watched my channel enough, you've seen several shaves with the pre-shave cube. It does last a good long moment. It is very good at, I guess you might say, it's what I would consider its key point is the lather boost. Then after that, it does other things for the face and for the shave, but the primary one, the one that stands out the most to me, is the lather boost. And as you can tell, it doesn't take much to work it into the face, work up a little bit of a lather right out of the gate. Now, some people might rinse it off, and I have my method is I leave it on. I don't rinse it off. Any of the pre-shave that I've ever used over time, I always leave it on. I don't rinse it off before the shave. If you're looking for something in the way of just unbelievable slickness for a pre-shave, you might want to check out something that's more considered more of a brushless shave cream, and that's Cremo. You can use it for a pre-shave, but it's incredibly slick and doesn't take a whole lot. So in other words, the tube that you get that usually you pick up for right around the say $5.99, $6 mark, maybe on sale a little bit cheaper. It is incredibly slick. So if you're really looking for some slickness, that would be a direction to go to. And for $6, that tube's going to last you a good long moment. Don't remember off the top of my head what size tube it is, but it will last a while. And it is incredibly slick. What I would consider the slickest on the planet. And it doesn't take much. Especially if you're starting out, you're still trying to figure out how to lather the pre-shave. In other words, maybe you just haven't quite find the right combination on your pre-shave routine. Then again, you may not need it. It depends on your skin and beard type, in my opinion. If you got a thick beard, you're probably going to want something on the slick side. And for me, as goes for this particular Aristocrat, more aggressive than some of the others I've used, which is not very many. I don't think so. My experience has been that they're about the same. And it could have something to do with maybe my blade type that I've been using. And plus what I'm accustomed to. For instance, if you're used to shaving with a shavette or a straight razor, I don't know that sometimes discerning in between aggressive and maybe on the medium side of things is the easiest thing to discern on a DE, especially like this. If you shaved one pass with one and one with the other, you might be able to tell the difference in, but I know for me it doesn't seem like it. Still pretty easy to go and shave. Really enjoyable. One of the things when it comes to these razors that still piques my interest is the twist to open comb. I see them, kind of sort of interested in them. There's not very many of them, and they're older, 1930s maybe. So there's not very many of them, and you're going to pay just a wee bit of money for one. In other words, somewhat more than $40. Matter of fact, in other words, this Aristocrat that I'm shaving with, I did get lucky and picked it up for $40. Now there's others out there that you'll pay somewhat more, but I got really lucky and picked mine up for $40 and quite happy with it. And it has a little bit of I think there's a ding on the door, just a small one. Not enough to affect the shave, don't even notice it during the shave, but you know, when you look close enough you can see it. But outside of that, it is in great shape. Definitely a good candidate to have replated where it looked just like new. This soap, scent wise, I would say at least a medium, maybe a little bit further up the scale. Not quite strong, but definitely on the medium side. I wouldn't say that the scent just rolls out of the container when you just open it, at least not per my nose, but I know while I'm working with the lather on my face, I can still smell it without a problem. To me, this soap, not only because of the soap, but the tin itself, the labeling is quite unique. And I guess you might say it makes it a collectible, in my opinion. You won't see very many shaving soaps that are like this. Very smooth shave. Second use on the blade again. This shave is fantastic. For me, I gravitate to this lineup, whether it's the Diplomat, the President, the Aristocrat. These razors always seem like they give me great shaves. I like how they're made. In other words, they handle the thickness, the length, everything just seems to work real well for me. Really do enjoy them. Oh, as it goes for the cases for the Aristocrats, they do vary. And so in other words, if you're trying to get one that goes the right case with the right razor of the period and whatnot, it could be a challenge because you'd have to do all the research that you can do to find out all the variations of the cases and what razors went with those cases. It could be a bit of a challenge. So you might have to do like I do sometimes with Gem Micromatic. There's several different cases, and sometimes you'll find maybe a Gem razor in a Gem Micromatic case. In other words, the two weren't actually made for each other, but I'll buy it because I like both of them, but I could use the case and everything in it for a Gem Micromatic that I have that doesn't have a case, so you can kind of work that way. And plus I love the razors, so yeah, there's that going on too. Humphreys Witch Hazel, unscented. I mention it from time to time. I try to remember to say more about it, in most of my videos. Even though that this Humphreys Witch Hazel is unscented, it has a scent to it. And my wife does not like it. It's I can't describe the scent, but I can say that it's not necessarily pleasant to the nose, and that's just right off the start per my nose. Now my wife's nose, of course, being far more sensitive, she notices it more further, in other words, more than just seconds after using it. For me, I don't notice it right now, in other words. My wife, on the other hand, yeah, no, she can't stand it. She likes the lilac, the violet, she likes rose also, but this one here, even though it's unscented, it has a scent to it, and I would have to say it's not exactly pleasant. But like I say, seconds after putting it on, I don't notice it any longer, so it doesn't really bother me. It's a little different when moments, longer and it lingers around, then yeah, I might not use it. But for my nose, it doesn't hang around long enough to matter. Once again, Phoenix Artists and Accoutrements. If you're looking for Vloid, yeah, you have to go to buy, sell, trade, and I don't know. It probably just depends if the person's, if they like the scent of the aftershave. For me, it works just fine. I do notice that as it goes for looking for a scent description, some may consider, in other words, some folks' noses might pick up talc or vanilla or something along those lines. Vanilla maybe, my nose doesn't pick up the talc. Not saying it's not there, it's just my nose just not sophisticated enough to pick up all the scents in a aftershave like this one here. Did get lucky and get this one right at the time where it was being discontinued. It does smell great, at least per my nose. Had a fantastic shave on a Monday. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.